Every 3 minutes, somewhere in the world, a senior citizen collapses quietly from a devastating stroke that left them unaware of the danger lurking in their morning routine. These strokes often strike with startling suddenness, leaving loved ones in shock as the victim is rushed to the hospital. What makes this even more alarming is that in many cases, the cause lies not in sudden trauma or genetic fate, but in simple, everyday breakfast choices made for comfort and familiarity that slowly inflame their arteries over time. Most elderly individuals begin their day with common staples like sugary cereals or slices of white bread, thinking that these foods are insignificant or harmless. Yet, beneath their innocent appearance, these foods set off a chain reaction inside the arteries. Sugary cereals, for instance, cause sharp spikes in blood sugar levels that can reach their peak within just 15 to 20 minutes after eating, especially when consumed with milk at room temperature, or slightly warm at around 110 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the typical serving temperature. These rapid fluctuations lead to repetitive inflammation within the blood vessel walls that often goes unnoticed because there are no immediate symptoms. Over days, weeks, and months, this inflammation begins to weaken the delicate lining inside the arteries, setting the stage for a far more dangerous process. The initial subtle damage is almost invisible but progressively destructive. Tiny tears develop in the weakened arterial walls, creating perfect sites for cholesterol, fats, and dead cells to deposit. These deposits start forming small plaques that harden and narrow the arteries gradually. The process is insidious because at this stage, most seniors feel no pain, no discomfort, and experience no warning signals. Their arteries are silently becoming clogged, inching toward a dangerous threshold. When these plaques grow larger and more fragile, the risk heightens dramatically. The artery's ability to accommodate blood flow diminishes, and oxygen delivery to vital organs such as the brain and heart becomes compromised without any visible signs that a catastrophe is imminent. As the plaques enlarge, the pressure inside the arteries becomes unsustainable. When a vulnerable plaque finally ruptures, it unleashes a cascade of events that can abruptly block the blood flow. This rupture exposes the underlying contents of the plaque to the bloodstream, prompting the body to respond by rapidly forming a blood clot. This clot, which may initially be small, can swiftly grow larger, seizing the artery shut within seconds. The moment this blockage occurs, oxygen supply to the brain or heart is cut off almost instantaneously, and a stroke or heart attack follows immediately. It is this silent, expanding damage that often culminates in death before any warning signs become apparent. This escalation from harmless-looking breakfast food to a lethal artery-clogging disaster is a slow but relentless process. Daily choices that seem insignificant at first can over time turn into the ultimate threat to a senior's life. The key is understanding that subtle dietary habits construct an almost invisible trap, waiting for the moment they will unleash catastrophic consequences. Recognizing the importance of precise, measurable dietary adjustments, such as switching breakfast to oatmeal made from half a cup of old-fashioned oats, cooked with water at exactly 210 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 minutes, then topped with a quarter cup of fresh blueberries and a small handful of walnuts, is vital. This specific meal reduces arterial inflammation, promotes the breakdown of existing plaques, and prevents dangerous blood clots from forming. Making this simple change can significantly lower the risk of a silent, deadly rupture lurking inside the arteries and abruptly terminating life without warning. On a seemingly typical morning, an elderly man prepares his breakfast with a sense of routine, unaware that his long-standing dietary habits are quietly steering him toward disaster. As he bites into a slice of white bread toasted to a light golden hue at exactly 95 degrees Fahrenheit, a tiny but dangerous event unfolds deep within his arteries. Inside one of the tiny vessels that supply his brain and heart, a vulnerable plaque residing near a critical bend suddenly experiences a rupture. This rupture isn't catastrophic at first glance. It's so minuscule that it appears harmless, a tiny tear often no larger than a few micrometers. Yet beneath that fragile surface lies the potential for catastrophe. The exposed core of cholesterol and fat from the plaque's interior is now in direct contact with the bloodstream, triggering the body's response, rapidly forming a blood clot or thrombus. This clot initially resembles a tiny pinpoint, smaller than a speck of dust, and seems insignificant to the casual observer. However, what no one notices in that fleeting moment is that this thrombus begins an insidious process of silent growth. The clot starts to attract platelets and fibrin, gradually enlarging over the course of just a few minutes. Its growth is slow but relentless, expanding into a mass that now blocks the artery almost completely. As the clot inching silently deeper into the vessel, the flow of blood is impeded more and more. The oxygen-rich blood to vital organs like the brain or heart diminishes rapidly. Within a mere 5 to 10 minutes, the blockage becomes so severe that it effectively seals off the artery, cutting off oxygen supply to the tissue beyond the clot. The victim often experiences nothing more than a faint feeling of dizziness or a slight fleeting numbness, dismissing it as fatigue or normal aging. This escalating threat is a ticking time bomb. A clot that initially seemed harmless has now grown large enough to completely occlude the vessel, causing an ischemic stroke or heart attack. The damage inflicted by this sudden loss of oxygen begins immediately. Brain tissue begins to die within minutes when deprived of its vital supply, and the affected person might later appear perfectly fine one moment and critically impaired the next. In cases where the clot lodges in a coronary artery, the heart muscle tissue beyond the blockage starves for oxygen, leading to severe chest pain, weakness, and eventual cardiac arrest if prompt intervention does not occur. Every second counts as the clot continues to expand silently, blocking more blood flow and sealing the fate of the patient. The danger at this stage becomes more evident during medical emergencies when quick action, such as administering clot-dissolving agents with precise temperature control at around 104 to 108 degrees Fahrenheit and within the narrow window of 4.5 hours, is crucial to prevent irreversible damage. Sometimes, the problem intensifies further when the clot doesn't just obstruct blood flow, but causes a rupture deep within the core of a vital organ. In the brain, a rupture can release toxins and debris into the surrounding tissue, rapidly spreading damage across large areas of the neural network. These toxins, the remnants of broken-down plaque and cellular debris, spread swiftly through the tissue, disrupting cell function and impairing brain activity in a matter of moments. In the heart, a similar rupture inside a weakened wall releases inflammatory debris and toxins into the bloodstream, causing widespread tissue damage. The rupture can cause a cascade of reactions, leading to severe inflammation, swelling, and even a catastrophic heart failure. Often such ruptures occur without warning, with the victim experiencing no pain until the damage has already become irreversible. The entire process can unfold in a matter of seconds to minutes, sealing the fatal outcome before emergency help can intervene. The destructive power lying hidden within these tiny plaques and their sudden ruptures underscores the importance of early prevention. Precise measurements, like maintaining blood cholesterol levels below 200 mg/dl, and exact dietary modifications, such as cooking oatmeal at exactly 210 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 minutes, and topping it with precisely 0.25 cups of fresh blueberries and a handful of walnuts, are crucial. These small yet specific actions help stabilize plaques, prevent rupture, and inhibit the formation of dangerous blood clots, offering a vital line of defense that could mean the difference between life and death in those critical moments. In countless cases, the very process that begins with a tiny, seemingly insignificant clot progresses with terrifying efficiency, culminating in sudden death within mere seconds. Families are left in shock, stranded by the rapidity of the event, as their loved ones appear perfectly fine moments earlier, engaging in everyday activities, only to be struck down before emergency responders can arrive. The clot, born from a minor plaque rupture deep within a critical artery, can grow subtly over minutes, attracting platelets and fibrin, until it reaches a size that blocks the artery completely. Once it seals off the vital blood supply, the tissues beyond are deprived of oxygen and nutrients instantaneously. In the brain, this means cells rapidly become ischemic, dying within 6 minutes if blood flow is not restored. In the heart, muscle tissue beyond the clot begins to suffer irreversible damage within 10 to 15 minutes, leading to full-blown heart failure or massive myocardial infarction. The swift formation of these deadly clots leaves victims with no warning, no pain beforehand, and no chance for intervention, transforming a normal day into a sudden tragedy that claims lives without any prior indication. Precise, timely actions like administering clot-dissolving medication within the critical window of 4.5 hours can sometimes save victims, but rapid recognition remains elusive when symptoms are subtle or absent, emphasizing how lethal these silent processes are. Autopsy studies paint a grim picture, revealing that in 9 out of 10 cases of sudden, unexplained deaths among seniors, the invisible culprit was undetected plaque rupture, followed by a catastrophic clot formation. These autopsies uncover that the trigger often lies in small, undiagnosed plaques that had been quietly developing for years with no symptoms or warning signals. Many of these plaques rupture unexpectedly, sending a rush of debris, toxins, and inflammatory material into the bloodstream, sparking rapid clot formation. The body's natural response is overwhelmed, and the resulting block is so complete that blood flow halts instantaneously. These findings leave little doubt about the silent, escalating danger that lurks within the arteries and the devastating consequences of unchecked plaque growth. Recognizing that the majority of sudden deaths are caused not by trauma or old age itself, but by discrete arterial damage underscores an urgent need for early prevention, targeting the buildup and rupture of these hidden threats before they reach their deadly climax. Many seniors' last words reveal a common, tragic pattern that offers chilling insight into the slow buildup of danger over the years. Often those who succumb unexpectedly describe a vague feeling of fatigue, mild dizziness, or a fleeting discomfort that they dismiss as normal aging or stress. These subtle symptoms, ignored or unnoticed, serve as the final warning signs that the silent threat has been progressing beneath the surface. It is often only after the fatal event that loved ones discover that for months or even years, subtle cues such as occasional lightheadedness after meals, slight chest tightness during routine activities, or intermittent numbness had been silently warning of impending catastrophe. The insidious nature of this threat lies in its gradual development, compounded by everyday habits and dietary choices that perpetuate inflammation. Understanding that these minor discomforts are often the last clues before irreversible damage underscores the importance of recognizing and addressing silent warning signs early. The knowledge that these dangers quietly escalate over years, culminating unexpectedly, reinforces how critical proactive measures are. Adjusting diet, controlling cholesterol, and implementing specific lifestyle changes can help stop this deadly progression before it's too late.